Okay. Oh. Ooh, 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 ooh. Excuse you. Denver's on. Shut up. I'm gonna be like Shake. Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up.
Welcome to Amazon Country, radio from lesbian and feminist perspectives. I'm your Amazon Country host and producer, Debbie D'Alessandro. I hope you're having a good week. Let's get right to the music. We're going to start out with Skip the Needle, which is an Oakland, California-based queer female quartet made up of basically Bay Area rock stars Vicki Randall, Shelley Doty, Kobe Brown, and Katie Cash. This is the title track from their album, We Ain't Never Going Back.
Nice. Cheers. I never heard this type of music on here, huh? Let's rock.
matter of time. It's just a matter of time. It's the fire in your feet. Starting watching TV. Backing down no retreat. And everybody. Believe it's hard to find. And hope it's only right. It's time. Keep that spirit. Believe it's hard to find. And hope it's on the decline. It's time. Keep that steel in your spine. Keep that steel in your spine. Keep that steel in your spine. That's Chris Matthews, and she just released it as a single. The title is Forged in Fire. Before that, her fiance, I think they're getting married this fall, Heather May, with Warrior. And starting out that set, we had the power quartet of Skip the Needle with We Never Forget. So Joy Clark has been on quite the tour. I think she's sometimes been opening or at Coville with Unexpected because she was on the Registered Records label. Here comes some Joy Clark. This is from live in Seattle. I feel
Minutes, 9 minutes, something like that.
Look how close we came to barely knowing each other's name. What a tragedy we spent. Give me just one sign where we're this love was born in the springtime. Give me just one sign, you'll bear witness. This love was born in the springtime. Hey, it's Kristen Curtis, and I know hearing my voice right now means that the weekend is almost here. But it's all right. Bob Bombera and I are going to do our best to get this fresh week off to a good start for you by distracting you with a new Friday morning mixtape theme assignment, taking you back to the 90s at 9 and getting you caught up on the news. Join us from 6 to 10 a.m. on your radio, via our free app, or tell your smart speaker to play wxpn. Going way back. Ollie Near, Fire in the Rain. Before that, Janessa James from her solo album, Believer. She's been touring with Allison Russell, and I think they also did a co-bill with Cindy Lauper, so it's amazing to see artists like Janessa James and Joy Clark still at touring nationally. When I first saw them on the Sisters Bay stage in Darlington, Maryland, which is happening again this year. It's going to be our 51st festival. It's always the weekend after Labor Day. Sisterspace.org is the place to get all the information. All women and girls love it. Cis and trans women and our non-binary sisters with a history of girlhood. I am Deborah D'Alessandro, host and producer of Amazon Country, reminding you, as I do every week, that lesbians and our allies are everywhere. We're going to go out with my guest next week on Amazon Country will be Shug Daniels. She's got a lot of local gigs coming up. She will be in Clark Park. Oh, yeah, that was last weekend. Coming up May 25th. She will be on the Old Swedes Episcopal Church in Old City, Philly. That's May 25th. She'll be part of Wesco Porch Fest on May 30th. And she will be at the Falzer Club until June 6th. Shug Daniels. So let's go out with her. One of my favorites of hers right now called Brand New Day.
Sometimes you gotta leave home. Sometimes we from home if we push that alone, and that's okay. That's okay. I should quiet to my pain. night from me? Or was it just your sense of humor that far removed and kept you free? In that darkness was that weeping, in that silence everything. And now I'm waiting in your valley, standing on your mountain, and I might tumble down your hillside to a place that waits for me. From the time I dare to mention how much sure that you'll be like. In this world of good intentions, the coolest love can seem so kind. And you may harbor quiet sorrow, but to speak it you'll try. And so I'm waiting in your valley, standing on your mountain, and I might tumble down your hillside to a place that waits for me. I am soldier without country, having laid my guns to rest. I am time without the notion you could say I'm thunder with a best. I have followed all your numbers, and I watched my secret. And now I'm waiting in your valley, standing on your mountain, and I might tumble down your hillside. That waits for me. I have lost so many people, but that's what. But the days in that duress were more than what the beautiful heart could be. And though it caused me many pains, all but one I can't see. And so I'm waiting in your valley, standing on your mountain, and I might tumble down your hillside to a place.
Every Friday, XPN hosts a free show in front of a live audience. This week from World Stage, it's a free dude performance with XPN artist wife, Annabelle Dinda. Philadelphia native Annabelle Dinda recently released a new album called Some Things Never Leave. She'll be part of the Noah Khan Tour, playing Citizens Bank Park in Philly on June 26th. This Friday, Annabelle Dinda makes her Free at Noon debut. To join us, RSVP at xpn.org. Click Tell Me More. You can listen to the show live on your radio or on the XPN app. Plus, watch our video webcast at xpn.org. Support for Free at Noon comes from Xfinity, Rafferty Subaru in Newtown Square, and XPN members.
And greetings and welcome to Out Sound, celebrating out artists worldwide. I'm Robert Drake. How are you this evening? Good to have you here on this Sunday night. Tonight we're going to go back in time to a segment from a wonderful in-depth story that Open Source did on public radio back in 2019, celebrating the 50th anniversary of Stonewall, called Beyond Stonewall, From Power to Pride. And I want to play a segment that looks at a certain element of that fight for the community back in the early 1980s, dealing with the fight of power as well as the fight with the looming AIDS crisis. We'll hear that from Christopher Lydon in just a few minutes, but first, Bare Naked Ladies from the movie Stonewall, the soundtrack. What a Good Boy on XP. wxpn.
When I was born, look at me, son. What a good boy, what a smart boy, what a strong boy. When you were born, look at you, son. What a good girl, what a smart girl, what a pretty girl. Got these chains, hanging around tight, always strangle us before we take our first step. Red out chains, red staying the same when temptation comes. We just look away. This name is the handshake I wear. This handshake is holding your round hand. This song is the cross that I bear. Bear with me, bear with me, bear with me. Be with me tonight. Know that it isn't right. Be with me tonight. Go to school. Writing slams in the best of a violent fight of fountains, anyone can attend. If they do, they'll soon forget. 'Cause it won't take much for me to show my life ain't a man. Wake up scared, I wake up strange, I wake up wondering if anything in my life is ever gonna change. I wake up scared, I wake up strange, and everything around me says this song is the cross that I bear. Bear with me, bear with me tonight. I tell I was wrong. Chicken down with the pen and the paper. Sat down and I wrote this song. I could tell you were right. So sad I looked in the mirror. I watched TV all night. Got these chains hanging around night. Wanna strangle us with them before we take our first breath. But I'll change. Saying the same when temptation comes. The song is the cross that I bear. When I was born, what a good boy, what a smart boy, what a strong boy. When you were born, the truth was right. What a good girl, what a smart girl, what a pretty girl.
I'm Christopher Light, Source. Intimate social revolution dated from the Stonewall bar fight 50 years ago was one sort of struggle. The outbreak of an insidious viral infection, notably among homosexual men, a disease finally labeled AIDS in 1982, was something entirely different. The death of Rock Hudson rang as a general call. Hollywood's leading man, stars like Liz Taylor and Doris Day, outed himself as a lifelong gay man and died at the age of 85. In Boston, Larry Kessler, the shop owner, was among the first responders to the plague, to the telephone hotline that anyone could call for good information in 1983.
The hotline was springing off the wall. We were answering hundreds of calls a day, and some of them were ridiculous. To give you an example, some people would call and say, I live in the South End, but I want to get into my building. Is it safe for me to use the washer and dryer?
Oh,
Or others who would say, I go to the Y can I catch this by using the same shower? So nobody
Jesus.
really knew what was happening. But by September of '83, there were at least 100 people in Boston who had been diagnosed with having what later became known as AIDS. So as a volunteer group, that was our job, was trying to figure out what do they need, how do we get it, how do we make these volunteers. The hotline seemed to be the first thing that would work because it was enough. Some people would call at 5:30 at night. You could tell them they were on a road or on a highway because they were afraid that somebody would hear them asking questions. So we knew that we had made a good decision. That hotline was 45 years.
Thank you, sir.
Boston was already ahead of any other city in the country. So no other city had such good support from the state legislature or the city. Whatever it was, I'd always stayed out. I always wanted people who were sick with me. That way, they got to know real people who were probably from their district. And they were at that point maybe not as sick as they were going to get later in the year. But them telling their story was profoundly important and very, very good as it kept moving. That's right, moving. One of those years, we were sitting with the senator who was in charge of Ways and Means. And I took 6 or 7 people with AIDS into her large office in her office to meet with her.
It had to be Pat McGovern.
It was.
Barnes.
It was Pat McGovern. And I said, they would like to tell you their story. And they all started talking about what they were up against, what it was like. And she said, listen, I got to check on something. And she left the room. And she didn't come back. We said, where did she go? Finally, she did return. And she said, the meeting's over. But Larry, I have to ask you, don't ever do that. I said, what did I do? You brought me 6 people. I told me their story. And I left because I was crying so hard. And I don't like to cry in front of my constituents. But it helped. It worked. Because she went down the hall, talked to Billy Bollinger, told him about the situation that she had just had. And she turned out to be one of those people who we could always count on thereafter.
I put you, Dick Benny, was there a bigger citizen in Boston in our time than Larry Kessler?
Not in my opinion. One of the most humble servant leaders I have ever had the honor of working with. I was the first African American board chair of a major service organization and was working there for 6 years. And his dedication and commitment to this issue was beyond measure. Larry used to say that his mission was one day to turn off the lights and lock the door at Ace Action because he would have found a cure. He would have found a cure for the epidemic. It was not about building something to last forever. It existed because the epidemic existed. It was not an edifice or another institution he created, and that's why our doors are still open, and that's why the AIDS walk June 5th are still important because people still are getting sick and dying in communities of color. Gay men and communities of color are overrepresented in the numbers.
Count the ways that AIDS and the response, the organization, Michael Bronski, affected the whole gay history.
Sure. I would like to say something just to respond to Gary, or not respond, but to actually build on. One of the reasons Larry was so effective was that Larry was an organizer. He was with Catholic Workers before he became an AIDS activist. And if you look at the history of the gay movement, the first Harry Hay, who started Madison Society, with the communist people, the amount of people who came from the anti-war movement, the amount of lesbians that came from lesbian health, who came from the anti-war movement, and that in fact, well, there was a movement a few years ago by Dan Savage.
Two
campaign
V8 running before bed.
which people sign on to, right, to help young people think it gets better. And it struck me, it does, but it doesn't get better. We actually have to fight to make it better. Right? Nothing changes by itself. You have to demand it. So I think that what we saw with Larry, and we saw it in New York in different ways, particularly with Larry Kramer in New York and with Back Up in '87, right? That I mean, it's sort of amazing, right, that the backlash to gay liberation meetings in '78, right after that is 1981, right, is the AIDS epidemic. And to many people, or to many people who were on the right wing or conservative right, AIDS was literally the manifestation that gay equals death. Right? You know, it actually fulfilled every biblical prophecy that they could think of. And it profoundly changed the gay community. It profoundly changed, it built upon the organizing that we had been doing in deeper, more profound ways. It also gave people a deeper sense of humanity. I think one of the most amazing things that happened was that even though it basically affected gay men of all colors, the amount of support that lesbians brought to the AIDS movement was phenomenal, particularly because they had actually been badly treated by gay men for 20 years. Even more of an honor to do this. I mean, in many ways, lesbians ran AIDS groups. To some degree because they hadn't been professionally trained as healthcare workers, but also because many gay men were sick and couldn't do it.
I was in a room once at a fundraiser with Martina Navratilova, which I badly mangled her name, and where she said similarly that lesbians had shown up and supported gay men. She wasn't sure that gay men would have shown up and supported lesbians. And let's think about where have we shown up in the same numbers, in the same way around breast cancer and other issues that confront women, and particularly our lesbian sisters.
It's not just organizing, but the consciousness-raising challenge there. Because we're starting, this is pre-Romney Care and Obamacare. What did we suppose were people's rights to medical care, to drugs, to hospice? And how did that get clarified, get argued?
I think this profoundly changed how we thought about healthcare, how we thought about taking care. And what it did was that it actually allowed people in the community to take care of one another because they had to. It allowed lesbians who had healthcare backgrounds to move in and do massive amounts of work. It also allowed many gay men and lesbians who were running organizations, right, to actually learn on their own about what AIDS was, what the drugs were doing. So it actually had this massive sea change in terms of how we understood our health. I mean, I do think one of the major failings of the AIDS activism movement and of the LGBTQ movement is that during all of this time, no one that I know of actually began to talk about national health care or about the government taking some more cohesive role. It was dependent to a large degree upon charity in the best possible sense. Many people helping.
Sukat, please.
I just want to say that let's remember that during the women's liberation movement, women organized underground while abortion was still illegal. Women organized collectives which provided, and I'm talking just about citizen health workers, that provided abortions free to women. And that's when it was illegal, and when the only people that had access to abortion were people with wealth, who could fly somewhere or hire a doctor with sufficient money to get an actual safe abortion. So there was a sort of a history there of organizing around the health crisis that unfortunately we're facing again today.
It's also important. It's also important as we think about that period, and going back to what Judy just said, to think about the role that people like Judy Nagosian played with our bodies ourselves. That women were also at a place where they were having. When we talk about healthcare, I think sometimes we look at healthcare, and this is through my social work lens. We look at healthcare now thinking about what it could have been without looking at it for what it was. Healthcare was, as advanced as it was still fairly siloed and rudimentary in many ways. So that there was not a lot of work being done around women's health. If we think about for queer people, we had to create a Fenway. We had to create our stellar institution. It didn't exist because we weren't getting the care that we needed.
And yet the medical world did respond. Barry Kessler was telling me. I also want to take note that this, as well as being a medical capital, is a Catholic stronghold. I also want to come back to your point, Gary, that Stonewall has been whitewashed to some degree. What links were you making as time went on with black struggle and with black politics?
Well, it's very important as we talk about what was going on during the Civil Rights Movement. There was a lot of language that was being used that was equating the gay rights movement as being exactly the same as the black civil rights movement, and they're not exactly the same. That is not to say that they don't both exist through a lens of oppression, but indeed the major difference here is what also happens when one is oppressed but also benefits from white privilege, and particularly white male privilege for numbers of people, which queer people of color don't have access to. There's no proximal privilege that comes from being black and gay or queer, which is today's term, not yesterday's term. And so when we go back and even think about what that means about the movement, we're now at a place where, at least from my assessment, that more and more people forget there was black and brown people who fought back. You have people who had absolutely nothing to lose, who got tired of being tired. And that 50 years ago, it was around police brutality, the abuse and the disrespect of systems that people turned around and fought back against. And so when we think about the mothers of the movement, we think about Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera and Stormy DeValera. Those are the mothers of the movement. It's just been announced today that at Stonewall in New York City, they're going to erect a statue honoring Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera. Why? Because in the language of the First Lady of New York City, the movement has been, I refer to it as being polarized. Color has been removed from the movement. We now think of it as a marching parade, and we forget that it was a protest march. It was a protest march. Stonewall was a riot. And it's irritating now when you hear people get upset when Black Lives Matter, with all due respect, will stop the march for people to be able to listen to concerns of people of color still being harassed by some police, to say that we're interrupting the march. But that's what the march was about. So they don't know their history.
I'm just meeting some of those heroines like Shirley Royster, elders of color, a woman who had AIDS herself, but who just, her heart still breaks, but the numbers of people that died all around her in the heart of Boston.
You know, if we go back and really think about the trauma that was that period, I don't think anyone quite understands what it was like to be afraid to pick up your phone when it rained because you knew someone was going to tell you that someone had died. I don't think people really understand what it meant for the shoe to drop for you, because you knew that you were with these were your friends. So why is it passing me over? And it is, so you had survivor's guilt in some ways. It was a very horrible time. My youth died. I turned 30 during that period, and at that point my youth died, and I have never gotten it back.
It was also a contrast because before Stonewall, you know, it wasn't just in New York that there were raids. There were raids all the time in Boston, all the time. And I could tell you terrible stories about things that happened to us, and funny stories too, like Jacques, the boy Jacques, where I met every lover I ever had in that period, was run by people that were paying off the cops, but not always. And when the cops would raid,
I think I keep sliding off the damn button.
they would set off this red light in the bar, bum, 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 and all the lesbians and all the gay men who were dancing with each other would immediately split and get with each other, so that it looked like straight couples when the police would come in. But we lived with terrible fears and the terrible burden of being sick, of sneaking into these bars in the combat zone in the dark of night. And then came gay liberation, and it was like an explosion of freedom and good feeling, and then came this.
Michael Brunsky, will you tell the Charlie Shively story as economically as you can?
Sure. Charlie Shively was born on a pig farm in Ohio in a place called Gobbler's Hill. Ended up going to Harvard in 1956. He really was called Gobbler's Hill.
You motherfucker.
He went to Harvard.
Damn it, you asshole. You asshole. I hate that when they do that shit.
It was collective, but he held it together. He was the founder of Good Gay Poets. He was a poetry collective, and was
I was getting ready to cleanse that totem and they came up and...
He was an anarchist. As a professor, he was interested in sort of utopian American 19th century history.
Celebrated queer in every dimension.
He had left
Almost
Ohio
good space. I was wondering what the second one was.
and became as queer as he
Good
could
space.
possibly be in every possible part of his life.
On the theory that we were supposed to enjoy all of these described things.
Every like it.
I mean, Charlie was famous for a series of articles which we cannot mention on the radio that were in Bagrat, that were essentially, they were all about different acts of revolution that he had with regular sexual activities. And he was
Loving it all was the revolution.
It really was, and actually loving yourself and loving your body was actually the foundation for gay liberation. I mean, unfortunately, Charlie died years ago of Alzheimer's, leaving behind a massive amount of his own writing as well as an archive that's now at Yale University.
Wow, accessible.
Yeah.
You've written wonderfully about it in the Boston Review, but where else we located?
The archive is in the Binding Library. It's totally cataloged now. People can go there and look at it.
It's a voice like none other in a period that was full of wild voices. We're talking about Stonewall, outside Stonewall, coming up the energy of now in a half century of revolution.
I'm going back. Damn, I'm going back. I'm going back to get this bitch. I'm gonna get it too. next round.
This is 88.5 wxpn HD1 Philadelphia, 88.7 wxph HD1 Middletown, 91.9 wxpj HD1 Hackettstown, 90.5 WKHS Wharton, and streaming at xpn.org. Member-supported radio from the University of Pennsylvania.
Alexa.
around. I'll switch over because I got things going on today, and I can't stay up too late. So, let's go to regular mode and run a couple of survivor rounds and see if I can bless these damn totems.
This place sucks.
Oh, what the hell? What the hell just happened here? I'm gonna go all the way back in it. Okay, now I'm gonna go back in here. Shit. Okay, sure. Okay, everything's good. I didn't get messed up. I accidentally pressed the damn button. Okay, a couple games here of regular mode. Try to bless my totems. And then, I guess I gotta call tonight because I got shit to do today. I got shit to do. Shit to do. I don't want to do it, but I gotta do it. It's a pain in the ass. So here we are. Why is this crashing on me? You piece of shit. What the fuck? Why do some apps, like, as soon as you download the app, it crashes on you? Go to open it, crash. Oh, there, that's better. Whoa, I'm not in the shit. Whew, okay. My neck doesn't want to crack tonight. Being stubborn. Creeping along. Just creeping along. Why does that keep fucking crashing? What the fuck? What the fuck? Creeping along. I'm staying low to the ground. Cause it seems like if I get up, I do this, will see me. So I'm gonna stay low to the ground. Now I'm coming. Looking around. Blowing it up, he's gonna hear it somewhere. I'm not gonna get pissed at you. I'm not like half bone a half enemy. I'm not gonna get mad. I'm not gonna get mad. I'm careless what the fuck's going on. Yay! Okay. Rock and roll. I'm gonna keep doing what I got here, because I got that add-on to it. Why do I keep doing that? I don't know. We're looking for hex totems, but I haven't seen one up here yet. I'm working on this trophy. I'm 70% into this progress. Oh. Yeah. It's not a hex, but it will do. Oh, you son of a bitch, bitch. Don't you come over here, don't you come over here. Thank you. Stay away. Ah! You fucker. I had like 1 second on that, damn it. 1 more second and I would have had that shit, because they give you buku blood points, and I love hunting them. Son of you motherfucker. I was like seconds away from cleansing that. Seconds away. Ah, oh, damn it. Why won't this app load? It's pissing me off. Of course he saw me. Uh-oh. Getting no help in today, bro. You took the long way around and jump out the window. Wow, a trap on my head? Holy shit. Ah, shit. Fuck yeah! Get a bang on him with the pellet. Do it again! Ooh. Oh my gosh. Twice? Holy hell, it's a new record for me. I've never done that twice in a row. Hit him with the pallet. Fuck. God, I got a dirty mouth. I'm sorry. Excuse my language. I got a dirty mouth. Oh yeah. I hit him twice in a row with that pallet. That's crazy. Oh, Christ. friend. Good night. What's lost up there? Damn it, my finger keeps sliding up the button. Damn it. There we go again. Gotcha. That's not my first stop. This is my first one. There it is. He's gonna follow me. He always comes after me. Alright, one more. One more and I gotta call it a night. So I got a busy day ahead of me. Ooh, Raccoon City. Working on a trophy for this one too. I gotta escape so many times to get it. A little bit more. Shit. He's gonna hear that. He's gonna stand there and watch. Watch me die on this hope. And find the fire totems and all the hex totems. It's time to call it a night. It's going to 1, so I bid everybody good evening and good morning, whatever time of day it is for you. And I will continue this later after I come back. Stuff. Trying to get everybody bloodied out. I haven't gotten that yet. Not everybody. I can't find it. It's right at the top, I guess. Alright, anyway. Gotta